So, you're a software developer, you're good at it, you ship clean code, you solve complex problems, but you're starting to feel like you want more. You don't just want to build the thing, you want to decide what thing gets built. Well, you're at a huge career crossroads, and this is your guide to figuring out that next big move. Technical product manager versus solutions architect.
Look, you've got the execution part down pat, but that little voice is getting louder, right? It's asking, what's next? This is about leveling up your impact, moving past the how of writing code and stepping into the what and the why of the entire strategy. It's about becoming the person who really drives where things are going.
And that's the jump we're talking about today. It's what we call thinking big. It's the difference between being handed a ticket with design specs and being the one in the room who actually defined the strategy behind those specs. So let's explore the two most powerful paths to get you there. Okay, let's dive into path number 1. This is for the business strategist in you. We're talking about the technical product manager, or TPM. This is the role you want if you're itching to grab the steering wheel of the product's vision. So what exactly is a TPM? The best way to think about them is as the ultimate translator. They are the bridge connecting the big picture business goals with the on-the-ground technical reality of the engineering team. They're not just asking, can we build this? They're obsessed with the real questions. What are we building and why will anyone care? Why does it matter to our users and to the business's bottom line?
Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're in a meeting, and the tension is thick. The marketing team is pounding the table for one feature, sales is desperate for another, and the engineers are telling you there's only time for one. You've got the Figma prototype up on the screen, the blueprint of the app, and everyone's looking at you. You have to make the final call, balancing all that pressure with the data and the company's core strategy. That single moment of decision, yeah, that's a day in the life of a TPM. Now, to make those tough calls and keep your job, you need a very specific set of skills. Of course, you need your tech background. You have to speak the language of APIs and databases to have any credibility. But look at the shift here. The game becomes all about communication and data. And that last bullet point, Python, that's a TPM's secret weapon. Not for building the product itself, but for digging into the data, for scripting analyses that prove your big decision is the right one. It's how you back up your gut with cold, hard facts. So what's that kind of strategic responsibility worth, being the person who can literally make or break whether a product finds its audience? Well, it's compensated pretty handsomely. In North America, we're talking a salary potential north of $160,000. That number reflects just how critical that role is. All right, on to our second path. Now, if the TPM is the one deciding what kind of house to build and for whom, the solutions architect is the one who designs the fundamental blueprint that ensures that house will still be standing strong 50 years from now. A solutions architect, or SA for short, is the master planner of the entire technical universe for a project. They aren't focused on a single feature. They're zoomed way out, thinking about the whole structure. They're asking the big, scary questions. Is this system going to scale when we hit 1 million users? Is it secure? Does this complex technical foundation actually solve the client's problem? They're designing the whole shebang. I love this analogy because it just clicks. Think about it. As a developer, you're an expert at building and furnishing the individual rooms. You make them perfect. The SA, though? They design the skyscraper's foundation, the steel frame, the electrical grid, all the core stuff that makes sure the whole building doesn't just collapse under pressure. So what's the day-to-day look like? Well, forget arguing about button colors in Figma. You're standing at a whiteboard with a huge client, frantically sketching out system diagrams. You're the one deciding, okay, we're going to use these specific AWS services to handle the load. And here's how the databases are going to communicate without melting down. You are designing the entire system to survive a Black Friday sales rush without a single hiccup. That's the world of an SA. The skills you need here are, well, deeply technical, but on a massive scale. Expertise in system design and cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, or GCP is completely non-negotiable. You have to be a master of APIs and how all the different puzzle pieces of a complex system will talk to each other. And, this is key, you still have to be able to turn around and explain that incredibly complex design to a non-technical client in a way that makes sense. And because of that deep, high-stakes technical expertise, the solutions architect role often brings in the bigger paycheck. In North America, we're looking at over $180,000. And here's the real reason why. A bug in a single feature, you can patch that. But a fundamental flaw in the core architecture you designed, that could literally sink the entire project. That's the kind of responsibility this salary reflects.
Okay, so you've seen both sides, the business-focused strategist and the deep system designer. Two incredible roles, but they're very different. So how in the world do you choose the path that's right for you and the kind of influence you want to have? Let's put them head to head. This right here is the absolute heart of the decision. You have to be honest with yourself about what gets you excited. Both are leaders, but where do they focus their energy? A TPM uses their technical know-how to make a deep business impact. An SAA uses theirs to achieve deep technical excellence. So the question for you is simple. Do you want your influence to come from business strategy or from architectural mastery? This chart just makes it so clear. Check out the TPM row. See that very high for business focus and a high for leadership? That's because they're setting the vision and leading teams toward a business goal. Now look at the SA, they match that high in leadership, but their superpower is that very high rating in technical depth. They lead through technical authority. Now, you might see medium leadership for the UX designer and think, wait, UX designers are leaders? And you're totally right, they are. But the key difference here is scope. A UX designer's influence, while incredibly deep, is often focused on the product's design and features. The TPM and SA, on the other hand, are making decisions that affect the entire business strategy or the whole company's technical foundation. It's just a different, broader level of influence. Okay, enough theory. Let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually get from where you are today, writing code, to one of these strategic roles? The next few minutes are all about actionable advice, a step-by-step roadmap for you to start on, well, tomorrow. If that TPM life is calling to you, here are your first 3 moves. 1. Become the go-to expert on Agile and Scrum on your team. Live it, breathe it. 2. Put your hand up and ask to be the feature owner for something, even something small. This is your training round for making those tough prioritization calls. And 3. Fire up those Python skills and build a portfolio of data projects. Show people you can use data to make smart decisions. But if designing that skyscraper foundation is what gets you fired up, your roadmap looks different. Step 1, and this is a big one, get certified. An AWS or Azure certification is your new business card. It signals you're serious. Step 2, in your team meetings, volunteer to lead the system design discussions. And finally, step 3, get absolutely obsessed with APIs and how complex systems plug into each other. And hey, just so you have the complete picture, here's what the first steps for a UX designer look like. You can see it's all about design principles and tools like Figma. Looking at this really helps sharpen the focus, right? It makes it even clearer which of the 2 strategic paths, TPM or SA, really speaks to you. And that brings us right back to the beginning. As a developer, you build things. That's what you do. The only question now is, what do you want to build next? Are you going to be the architect of the product's vision, deciding the what and the why? Or are you going to be the architect of the system's foundation, making sure that whatever gets built is powerful, secure, and built to last? The choice is yours. What's your next move?